subs as me because you'd be the first channel to benefit from this if I can.
Well, you don't mind. You obviously don't mind looking at Grace all day. If you're making shorts
what are
of
you
her,
fucking
No,
bringing up? Why? What
well,
are you?
King, because if you're willing to make shorts for her, then you're willing to like look at her content all day, look at her face. You must
no,
like
I'm
at least
actually
look
not.
like her.
No,
Somewhat
I
looking at her.
actually. So I'm kind of surprised that people haven't talked about this more. But the Grace you see on stream is not the Grace you see in real life. I think you know this. Lala knows this. I don't
She's
know if
even
she.
worse. She's even
Yeah,
worse in
yeah,
real life.
yeah. And like people, I haven't really talked about that because I think it's rude. But I don't know if it's the filters or whatever. But like I showed her the pictures of the girls. So there's a girl that I'm dating now and the girl that I dated before, and they're both much better looking than Grace. Like I don't, I don't want to be mean to her, but it's like I'm not interested in Grace in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more of a thought that like my family used to be in a position a lot like this, and I've talked to Dalmatian more about it. But it's like, yeah, it's just a sad situation that like if they can't turn this around, like nothing good is coming of it. It's like like I said, winter's coming. I don't know if they're going to have money to travel south or they're just going to have another. Like this winter, the hotel saved them. When it was too cold, they could go to a hotel. But if they don't have money for that, like
Yeah, this
they're
is a
just
whole different year.
Summer is here. Summer is here. They're melting. Do you know if their studio has AC? By the way, I mean, we were
it
talking about
does.
that earlier.
It
Okay,
does, but I don't. I think they're losing that too at some point. I don't know exactly. She told me the rent, what it costs. Maybe that they can afford to keep it, but I think
because it people in my chat are this is like a day or two ago. We're talking about how what's the point of even having a studio if it doesn't have AC or I guess we know it as a fridge at least.
just because they have electricity there, they have like
They don't have a shower there, do they?
no, it doesn't have. There's a bathroom, but it's not their bathroom. It's like a community bathroom in the hallway. But like, it's just to give them some of the luxuries of. I don't honestly know why they don't go down and use the apartment by Jacinda because that has an oven, that has a shower. I mean, I know why they're not using it, but like to me, I would just get over it and say, you know what, I'm just. Anyways, that's their decision. But that's kind of what the studio is for them. It's like it's what the RV. It's got a lot of the things that the RV doesn't have. Um, they still haven't fixed that house battery issue, so they have power there sometimes, but it's real dodgy. Yeah, it's just a sad situation for the whole family, not just Ben and Grace, but the whole family. It's just it's a sad situation that they've gotten to where they are.
Yeah, well, you could view it. Some would view it that way.
It isn't hard to go work at a hardware store being a cashier or whatever the fuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think about the what do you think about the fact that we did the math on she makes like do you know how much she makes OPC if I were to ask you that?
I talked to someone. I thought it was about 10 cents a viewer, roughly.
Well,
So
they get kicked per hour.
yeah, it has to do with the chat too. But I mean, so where I'm coming from is Darius had 2,100 viewers the other day, and someone in chat said that's $200. I don't really know how the system works. Like maybe if you're below 75, it's nothing. I don't really know if it's 10 cents a viewer, but it's roughly somewhere in that ballpark, I think. And so that means like
Well,
it's basically $12 an hour for most of their streams.
I've always said you've probably heard me say this before is I've always said they need somebody that they can like a money manager or some financial person that they can say like this is what we're because I guarantee you they don't know their money inflows or their money outflows. They probably don't pay any attention. They're probably terrible with money
Yeah,
generally. They need a they need some money manager. But they right now, from what I've seen, and I saw Grace show her revenue page on Kick the other day. I assume that they're making like $400 a week. So that is between two people, and then plus child support, and then plus Grace got ticketed the other day or
yeah.
cited.
For someone with a master's degree, that's kind of shameful. Like Ben could definitely be pulling in a lot more if he was
Well,
using his.
Ben is never going to work again. Ben is.
No,
I already.
I agree.
And I don't think Grace is really going to work either. She's like straight up special needs.
And right
And
there, why would people even give a fuck about him?
we know Grace doesn't have a high school education. We know Grace doesn't have a driver's license. We know she's not capable of holding any sort of friendship, much less a job. And she doesn't even want to go to the $8 an hour job she has now. So I think as long as you kind of don't help them anymore, OPC. I mean,
They're screwed, right?
you're just one less person. I mean, you're just one less good guy out there. And so, I mean, keep Ben warm during the winter. I mean, do you really feel like you would want to do that? I mean, just let him.
I don't really feel obligated. Like if he was like showed up and said, "Hey, fix my stuff," I would probably say no. But it's like if I know about it and I have like the means to do it, and I don't know. Like I debate this back because like I've a couple times said like there's just nothing in this collab stuff for me. All I do is get made fun of. But I also know that they're talented enough; they could get their $500,000 back that they originally invested if they would actually pay more attention to the numbers and, like I said, the algorithm game and all that stuff. They have the talent. Even Ben alone, I think, could get his 500,000 back. But Grace has a different set of skills, and when they try to work together, like I don't know, they just seem to always do the wrong thing at the wrong time every single time.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I agree about that.
Yeah.
They really need one of them has to get a job eventually. Whether it's, I mean,
and they could still. I talked to him about just do the streaming after work, but Ben said he's too old and he doesn't feel like he can do both. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not gonna get a job. It'd be more like Grace gets some server job, maybe.
Yeah, easily. And just even showing people that they're willing to do that, I think, would help.
Because I mean, if it's paid per hour, then they'd bring in like dual income and like to split the KCIP. I mean, KCIP isn't meant to be split. I'm pretty sure.
So one of the things we talked about is they have that cohogging boat, and I looked up. I think a cohogger can break in something like $150 an hour, but you can only cohog until you have your limit. So like I think it's like 5 bushels or whatever. Depending on the license you have, you can get more bushels. But I think the beginning license was only like 3 bushels. But the guy still said he in 3 hours time he makes. I can't remember if it was 4. I can't remember, but it was good money. But then they could do it at any like they wouldn't have like a set schedule. They could stream whenever they wanted to, and they could do the cohogging when they wanted to. And I also thought that would be content. People would pay to see Grace out there and Ben raking cohogs. But now I guess they're talking about selling the boat and just getting out of Rhode Island. So, I mean, they have a lot of options, but for whatever reason, they're just doing the Discord.
They let special needs carry plates out. Then maybe they'll have a runner that would help them a little bit. But yeah, you definitely can see them big forehead people. That's definitely a thing.
But wouldn't you guys think? I'd watch them raking clams. It'd be a disaster the first couple days, but I think it'd be funny.
Watching them do obviously anything that's not remedial shit.
Any physical labor.
They're not going to do any physical labor. OPC. They're not going to rake any clams. They're not going to do that. Yeah, I can already tell right now. They wouldn't even set up their own stuff. When I met up with them in person, they wanted me to set everything up for them. They don't want to do any physical manual labor.
I agree. That's why they haven't touched. I don't think they've touched the storage unit yet. Like they've got an extra month, and they still haven't. I don't think done anything as far as cleaning it out. So, yeah, if they're not going to do that, they're not going to rake clams. They're not going to do any type of physical labor probably. But I thought it'd be a good idea. Ben actually, when he thought about getting Tom to do it, agreed that it was a good idea because you're making money and streaming at the same time. So even if you don't get any money from streaming, you're still going to get the money from the clams.
For sure.